What is up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates. And early on this week we were kind of caught off guard when Bungie dropped a trailer for Renegades showing off a bunch of gear that we'll get in the new expansion. And so we've gone from things being relatively quiet to suddenly information rolling out. In this video though, we'll cover some extra details that Bungie have given about the new exotic armor pieces that are coming in Renegades. On top of that, alongside the trailer though, Bungie today have acknowledged the fact that we have not yet had the roadmap for Destiny 2. DMG offers an apology for that and explains what to expect, so we'll have that discussion and talk about the future of Destiny 2, the roadmap which Bungie published in terms of expansions rolling out in the next year, as they had already confirmed a little bit more than just Year of Prophecy. Then we'll discuss upcoming reveals, and a quick reminder that Bungie apparently have plans for Nightfall ciphers in Renegades for any folks who've held on to them. We've got all of that and a few other things to discuss today, so if you guys enjoy the video, a rating very much helps us out, but now let's get into it. Alright, so Destiny Bulletin posted here, kind of continuing a conversation which really started to kick off in the community about a week ago. But 2 months after promising a roadmap, Bungie's silence has fans calling Destiny 2 leaderless and out of options now. This whole roadmap thing really has kind of taken off in the last couple of weeks. Every time Bungie say anything that is not about the roadmap, which is obviously most of the time because we don't have it yet, there will be a million comments about where is the roadmap. That's part of the reason I had a specific discussion about it a few days back. But following on from the Renegades trailer that we've had this week, there were further questions about the roadmap and DMG has responded now. So he said, "I cannot apologise enough for the delay here. The team's still jamming and we hope to have some comms out soon. But please continue to yell at me directly, and I say this without any sarcasm. The team are focused on our immediate and long-term future. But I'm happy to take 100% of the blame here in promising comms early that we could not execute on in the projected timeline." So a pretty direct apology there, and DMG acknowledges that Bungie have been unable to execute on that roadmap in the timeframe they'd originally suggested. And in that video last week, we discussed all the possible reasons for that, and I still think it's probably true that the scope of what Bungie envision needs to be in this roadmap has changed since they initially announced it. But one positive for any folks who hope to engage with Destiny 2 over the long term still is that obviously at this point in time, that roadmap is going to refer to things after the release window for Renegades and probably beyond. If anything, that's probably where the substance is really going to be as well, right? Because, you know, if you wanted really big reworks of the Portal and the Director, for instance, we're not going to get that in Renegades. It was never realistic. So I suppose at this point, the hope is that the changes will be more significant. And yeah, it probably will end up being more of a 2026 roadmap when we do get it. But obviously the positive, if you want it, for the moment, is that we at least have a bit of a better idea of what we might be able to expect. The last time Bungie did actually give a longer term roadmap for Destiny in general though, was when Edge of Fate dropped, and they confirmed expansions going into 2026, so of course, Edge of Fate was in July, then we get Renegades for winter 2025, and 2026 had a couple of names listed there, with Shattered Cycle being a kind of, I'm not sure if that's a code name or will be the final release name for an expansion, but that will be summer 2026, and The Alchemist, which should be coming in winter 2026. So just worth reiterating that Bungie had actually announced that we technically have an expansion roadmap right now. I think there'll be a lot of people who say we're never going to get those expansions, and I wouldn't really criticize that point of view because while it may or may not be true, I think it just speaks to how much trust has actually been eroded between Bungie and the player base, right? And I feel that in myself, as much as I really want Destiny to have these upcoming releases in the pipeline, given how things have been over the last couple of months especially, even I feel that level of doubt where I'm like, will there be a summer expansion in 2026? All I really have to go on is Bungie's recent form and the current player populations and sentiment. It just leaves kind of a bad vibe. And when you also don't necessarily have a lot of trust for Bungie, I can definitely see why some folks would feel like we might not get them. Obviously, I hope that is not going to be the case. Give me your thoughts on those down below. That's all we can really discuss for the moment. I will, as always, still keep you posted when Bungie get around to giving us more details. With the trailer that we had this week though, showing off gear, both weapons, legendary and exotic, and then exotic armor, Bungie go into further text descriptions for these pieces. So for the new Hunter exotic, Bungie say be bold with the new Fortune's Favor exotic armor. After landing a final blow while at full health, or when out of combat for an extended duration, your shield will recharge into an overshield. When you have any overshield, your weapons gain increased accuracy, stability, handling, and damage against combatants, and final blows will grant a short period of increased mobility once the overshield is depleted. Obviously, that's a more in-depth explanation of what this thing does than what we got in the original trailer. And yes, the overshield can be activated when you remain at full health for a long period of time, or that can be accelerated after landing a final blow, essentially. And then there are the additional kind of weapon stats and mobility element to it. So it sounds pretty cool. For the Titan one, the Praxic Vestments, this thing looks pretty wild. You gain an air move jetpack, and weapon and arc-powered melee final blows build up jetpack fuel. Activate your jetpack while airborne with a forceful blast of exhausting arc energy, then fly forward based on the amount charged, collide with a combatant to unleash a blinding blast of energy, and gain a temporary boost to your melee stat. And it did look like it kind of concluded with almost a shoulder charge type effect. And yes, it would make sense that you'd run this with an arc subclass, although there may be some scope to run it with other elements if weapon final blows can charge it up pretty quick as well. I guess we'll find out. But it sounds cool. Otherwise, there is the Warlock one, the Domos Fusion, and while a Strand Super is equipped, casting Rift will suspend nearby combatants. But suspend deals damage over time, healing you in the process, and combatants who break free from suspension suffer additional damage. Then defeating suspended targets heals you a moderate amount. And I think that sounds kind of cool. In a way, it isn't very flashy. Obviously, the Titans win in that respect because it's kind of the most unique exotic out of the three, but I still think the Warlock exotic has the potential to be pretty potent and to be quite a strong kind of build enabler, I guess. So there we go, a better idea of what these are going to do, and give us your impressions from that recent trailer down below. As Bungie said, this week there'll be a sandbox preview with some of the changes coming to Renegades. Obviously, they're going to focus more on some of the quality of life and sandbox things perhaps before they go into new content. And I think we'll be seeing more of that in the next fortnight as well. So there will be the sandbox side, then a couple of other threads we haven't had more details on yet, but hopefully not too many folks forgot Assyrian ciphers and Nightfall ciphers. Bungie had said they're going to revisit them with Renegades. So of course they haven't had a use since Edge of Fate, but Bungie said before the release that they will remain in our inventories, Bungie are not deleting them, and that they have plans for them in Renegades, and we'll tell you more about it when the plans are more advanced. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, whether potentially it could be that Bungie are actually going to reissue some of the old Adept weapons and things like that from Nightfalls, but with the tiering system, potentially. And obviously the same could apply to Trials loot. That's one of the only reasons that I can really think Bungie would zero in on these specific currencies. There has to be a degree of relevance between them and their original source and loot pools. So I'm interested to see what the plan will be with those. And obviously if you do still have them, hopefully you didn't already delete a bunch, but if you do have them, definitely don't delete them. The other area that Bungie haven't followed up on yet are potential updates to the portal, more specifically with regards to adding additional content to it. So as they'd said, there would be this Flashpoint Ops category, which would focus on chaotic 6-player combat like offensives. Bungie said that was planned for later in Year of Prophecy as well, or more specifically they referenced 2025. So I'm curious to see if that update has found its way into the portal, because yes, we should assume that the core of the game will still focus around the portal heading into Renegades. It's probably too soon for there to really have been any significant changes there. But we'll just have to see. For today though guys, that is what we have to discuss. So as always, I hope you found the video interesting. Share your thoughts in the comment section as always. Plus, be sure to get subscribed and I can keep you posted with more content. And at least in the next few weeks before Renegades, that'll probably be more specifically news updates. So we'll see what they have to show and tell. But as always, for the moment, I very much appreciate you tuning in. And whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.